Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am live. I'm live as I feel. And there are a lot of issues that I need to cover. For one thing, I hate to say it, but old dogs can learn new tricks. It takes me a long time, but I finally got it right. I got a few errors, a few mistakes in creating my banner. So I finally got one up. I've been talking about it. I've been procrastinating about it. Not really procrastinate. It takes me a long time to do it. Figure it out. They said it was free. I keep running the issue talking about it. Pay this, pay that. It costs $1 here, $1 there. I don't want to pay for anything unless I can do it free first. And then if I want to get elaborate, I would get elaborate. But the title of my broadcast here is Eclectic Historicum. Yeah, I just thought about that word probably about a half hour ago while I'm here because I wanted to say something. Most everything I blog is historical. Most everything that any other blogger do is historical. Whether they do it for the first time or the last time, or whether they do it in a series of steps or chapters or broadcasts or podcasts. In my case, it's whatever comes up. And I do watch a lot of broadcasts. I watch a lot of YouTube. So there is said by some influencers, there is a broadcast about what is too much, how much should a new YouTuber do, or maybe an old YouTuber. But I get a lot of my ideas from other YouTubers. Oh boy, my eyes are scratching, whatever. And sometimes I just stand here when I know I should be doing something else, and I stare at the screen and say, I don't have anything to talk about, but I do have a lot to talk about. But how do I talk about it, and in what perspective do I talk about it, and does it make any sense? Well, one thing for certain, I am practicing on my gift of gab. You're right. My rant, my gift of gab. From the very beginning, that's the way I talked when I first came on, from the time I started reading my poetry, from the time I stopped reading the poetry. Now I'm going to try to mix the two. I got some art pieces that I want to show, and I'll probably be showing it at the end of certain broadcasts as a part of my blog. So, like if I blog something, I might show some historical pieces that I did, some childlike drawings, but it'd be at the very end because all this started on YouTube, learning how to draw. Of course, I drew before when I was younger, but when the pandemic hit, I had to go back to that because that's how my life started with this business of YouTubing, making it a fun thing. And now I can't see straight, so I got to put on my glasses. I really have no system. I just go along each day and figure out what I'm going to do, even on my job, on my breaks. I don't want to sit down. I want to go out, look for something, anything historical that has a date on it. That's why I call mine Eclectic Historicum, because I don't know what I'm going to do, but I do have to put a date on it, some historical perspective. Oh, by the way, historicum is Latin, and it just came out of my head, just out of the sky blue, and I looked up the word, and it says Latin for historical. Historical got a lot of meanings. We got past histories, current things, and things that's going to be history. Historical events, all those types of things. And that is what my site is about. And I hope, as viewers out there, as subscribers, that you understand where I'm coming from, and hope that you can see between the lines that, as a young YouTuber and as an older person, there are certain choices or limitations that I can do. Of course, one of them is heat, because I did write one about the heat. So that definitely is a limitation, even though I love the heat. I used to go out there and run barefooted, try to run cross country in the heat. I can't do that now. But to go out and blog, I can still walk. I think I thank the skies for that. Don't want to get too political in that kind of way. But my perspective on my blogging is that I go out and I do what I have to do. Ideas just pop up into my head. I could be driving down the street and I say, oh, I should have done that. There are certain malls that I go to. Of course, I didn't go to a lot of malls for a long time, but all of a sudden I have this new confidence about going to the mall and just going there and blogging. Of course, my favorite mall is the Ontario Mall, but that is one big mall. And another thing I found out too while I was vlogging at Echo Park, I didn't see no homeless around there at all. That was the center of controversy here in Los Angeles near downtown, where they just took over the place where families were. But long and behold, as I got in my car and I drove down El Dorado Street, I think it's called Alvarado Street, uh, going under the freeway. Uh, which freeway? I think the 101, whatever they call that freeway. Yeah, I think the 101. Yeah, it is. It is the 101 going to downtown, and it goes to Hollywood, and then it turns into the 5 when it's going north towards Sacramento and San Francisco. So there's another known street called Temple. So as I cross on Alvarado and Temple, I can see where the homeless move to. It seems like they just move from one area to the next. But then again, there is a whole pocket of homeless. And a lot of them are under the freeways. Well, I went down Alvarado, 6th Street in Alvarado in Los Angeles, and looked over at MacArthur Park. And the homeless was all over the whole street and the whole park. Now, back in the 70s, when I was a young man, dancing a lot, doing all kinds of little things, gallivanting around LA, up and down LA and the valleys, South Central, Southwest, dancing every place. You didn't see all these homeless people around. Nowhere. There was a festival called Festival in Black, I believe, back in the 70s. The Festival Black was held, I think, a couple of years at MacArthur Park. and it was a really big deal because they had not only were they selling trinkets and everything, but they was having a music fest. It really was a big black music festival with jazz and a whole lot of great artists there. You can't have anything there anymore. I mean, the grass is gone. It's dirt. So what the city can do, just like they say, they don't enforce anything anymore. No one's enforcing anything. It never should have gotten this bad. I mean, even back in the day, in the late '70s and early '80s, I'm getting back to the bus issue. When I took the Greyhound bus down there on a vacation into Phoenix, Arizona, there was a certain corridor where it looked like some old train tracks or just a street that was fenced off, and it was like a whole mile of homeless encampments. Now, see, I was seeing that way back then, a glimpse of that. And so it got worse here, but it was going on there back in the '70s. Now, I know there was a big homeless thing that built up on Alameda Street between Main and Central and Alameda, where the new Central markets are. Well, I don't know if it's Central Market, but where they do a lot of shopping now for, a lot of cheap goods. But Phoenix was a hotbed many years ago. It still is. There was a few in a little park across the street around where the bus station was, but there was a long corridor as we were driving into Phoenix, as I was riding into Phoenix, of a bunch of homeless people in their makeshift camps. And so these things have been going on for many, many, many years, and it just gotten worse and worse and worse. And also, we know that the homeless travel. It don't matter whether they have mental problems or not. The churches and the other institutions can only do so much, and you don't want to oppress a lot of people, but mixed in with those people, I'm sure there are at least 75% of people that do not have any of those kind of problems, but they're making the problem worse. Now, there's a whole lot of issues that I got to deal with my own self so I can be a better YouTuber. And one of these issues is, you're talking about changes, is full retirement. I can go into full time YouTubing, which I'm doing anyway, kind of, sort of. I got full retirement issues. I got volunteer issues. There's some things that I want to do to volunteer. There are travel issues. There's always travel issues, and I will be vlogging whether I'm in full retirement issue, volunteer issue, travel issues, and downtown issue, downtime issues. So, like, if I'm not doing anything, I need to get out there and continue vlogging. And I do try my best to do the best possible pictorials that I can. So, with that in mind, I know I talked longer, but I had to get some of these things out. And I hope you have another insight of Mr. Deschamps here, Robin Deschamps. Some people like to, make fun of my name, but for all fun purposes, Mr. Deschamps. And my new local boundary. I couldn't put the boundaries in there because I was trying to make it fit, but I got it to working. And so when people come on my site, they will see changes in banners from time to time, probably with the same name, probably with different name, but it depicts on what I am. I don't travel extensively, but I travel enough. And most everything I do is local. You can say that I'm part of the Matrix. In fact, there's a new Matrix coming out pretty soon. Maybe I get to see that one too. But anyway, this is Robin Deschamps, and I hope to see you in my next video. And you folks have a great, 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 great evening. See you later.